Hi, y'all. It's Gen X gone mad at life in full viz. As usual, I don't have. Well, I realized recently that I just have to get this shit out, and politics has always been one of my special interests, and at times, incredible emotional dysregulator. um, and while what I see that for far too many times, except for some important ones personally to me, my predictions of the future have often been true. And so I try to live in a place of hope, but that is becoming increasingly difficult. Like, I remember watching closely Clarence Thomas and his Supreme Court nomination, listening to the hearings. Why don't we believe women? One of the things my dad liked to do, um, when I was cornered and I'd first come back into his life after he showed back up when my high school graduation. I could tell by the expression on my face, my mom's face at the time, it was unexpected to her, but it's a public venue. So you know how people, when you know people are going to act generally in the South, be on their best behavior at an event like that. I mean, I guess it can't be guaranteed anymore today in today's world, but back then, in 1993, I had stopped playing sports in high school because I had to work. My mom made good money though. We just had certain appearances you had to put on to be anyway, when you move around a lot, those appearances change. um, my first lesson that trends don't always make it down the eastern seaboard is when I went with my stepmom and her sister's kid and an all girls trip in a VW travel van where we stopped at every state sign. I had Coca-Cola shirts were really popular back home, but I hadn't earned enough money to get that, I guess. And because I had been working since I was 13, I started working for my uncle's company as his bookkeeper when I was 13. Part time, of course. My first stay at home job. Later, I would go back to work for him, though, when in a more official capacity, I guess, when I had an actual office and stuff. And this was in my 11th and 12th grade of high school. And so to do that, I had to go in the work study. And that's just for kids that were generally not college bound. So we didn't get any college guidance. Me, though, in my head, I was like, I'm still going to go to college and become a marine biologist, but not in the state of Texas. I found my childhood wasn't happy having grown up in the way I did, and I for 6 months, my mom moved me to Florida. Now, here's where things get tricky because two things can be true. Some really shitty things happened um, in that time period, but also some really fucking amazing things happened. And it was namely just getting out into nature and floating rivers and hanging out with friends and maybe smoking a little weed. I didn't really. Yeah, I guess maybe I did when I went back. When I was in high school, I didn't do that because I was. I mean, kind of. I yeah. No, I tried to be. Goalposts seemed to move, wherever you went, and as a person who is just like perpetually traumatized, I guess, like just trying to put an extroverted neurodivergent person, which is kind of funny because I have moments in time periods where I was paralyzed and when I was in elementary school, but then I broke out of that, and then even pretty recently it happened again. So after my world blew up, when my mom was brave enough to leave our fundamental Christian faith in one stoplight town in western Oklahoma. And this is like, I think I talked in one of my lives about how you just don't know what you don't know. I remember when my mom finally was brave enough to come to her parents about what was happening. Like, she had only learned that she was being abused by what she learned in nursing school. And there was a really compassionate man in there that just was a good friend to her. I don't know. She didn't remember his name, so I don't know. And I just hope he was a good man. So wherever he is, I hope he is well. Because he gave her the encouragement that she needed and helped her probably plan, I think. So, because when you're in crisis, you just don't always think clearly. And when that happens, when you feel like, and that's what we've created in our society. It's like everybody's in a constant state of crisis. It seems like everything's a crisis. And, we're in this space where Gen X, we're not arguing for the good old days of our childhood because by and large, we were on our own. It's a wonder any of us survived and that the species procreated. Hearing sirens. There's been an unfortunate spate of things near my house too, which kind of sucks because I moved to this town solely for the parks. But see, that's the thing. When people are desperate to survive, things like this are going to happen, where carjackings and anyway, so I think the thing that inspired me to make this video, whatever it is I'm talking about right now. So it's speculated by the pundits that be, I guess, that try to predict the political shenanigans of one person or another. And because Kamala Harris, who is a highly qualified woman of color, that would have been a much better president right now. But listen, if she had been elected, I knew intimately what was going to happen. So it's best that the narcissist just be exposed on full display. But now I'm kind of thinking that this is even falling into place for the white nationalists, because they're just using it's like how an autistic person survives in life. It's like trial and error, lots of trials and errors. But really, anybody, I think we're all on the continuum for everything. Some of us just have more touches of the tism. That's all. Which, by the way, dear God, listen, some Yahoo doctor who was being paid by somebody else, same shit, different story, put out this bullshit about vaccines. And so now all these fringe elements have come together into MAGA, and y'all, they're just like there is a cabal, apparently, right? There is. And this is the thing. Like, in my head at the time, like the Pizzagate part with, like, there's stuff in there in that QAnon that just was ridiculous, okay? Ridiculous. But at the heart of it, me knowing what happens in circles of powerful people by way of film, books, stories collected, so these things are not unheard of. So the thing that I knew about Trump as a survivor, and apparently, according to some people, an empath, real life one, which I lost the thread. It's the problem with used to be. I mean, and it's fine. I like it kind of that I'm like all over the place, but I always had guides and crutches in places to keep me on track and in time, because I had lived in the house of logic for a very, very long time, and everything was tightly managed and scheduled and running on the wheel. Ooh, there's so many moving parts that a lot of people didn't know about, but more people than I realized knew about. So I'm grateful for that too. So I guess I lost my thread. And who knows if I'll post this, but might as well be real. I'm all about being authentic, your successes, your failures. I've never known. I've done some pretty amazing things, but never had a real plan. It was just like, yeah, that sounds cool. Go with the vibes. Unfortunately, that got me into difficult pinches where I truly feel like miracles saved me more than a time or two of my life. I would quietly laugh at memes that would say something about my sarcastic or just something humorous about a guardian angel. My guardian angel is upset with me in some way. I guess I'm feeling like I'm at the end of my 9 lives, but not long ago I thought I was at the end. So now I know I'm okay, I'm still here, I'm still kicking, I'm supposed to be doing something. So you've got this somewhat paralyzing condition that you have no filters anymore. It's like I can't not say. I can't not see something and say something. Silence is violence. I'm using my mouth. The goal is to use my mouth and keep my shit together and not fly into a fit of rage or fly into a fit of tears. But now that I've got some things sorted in my life, I'm feeling quite hopeful that that's entirely possible. And then shit's really going to get real, because we can't go back to status quo. The Democratic Party cannot go back. I was back calling and yelling at this Democratic Party back when I was working for this nonprofit in Raleigh for the Pan-Asian community. It was run by a bunch of entitled little twits. Sorry. Except for one dude that was in communications. I gave him a hard time, but I think I even offended him. I'm really good at offending everyone at least once. Stick around me long enough. I'm sure I'll find somewhere to offend you. I don't try to. It's not something I try to do. It just happens. It happens because I notice things. Like, I'm a real keen observer. And generally put two and two together in the right way. Like, I generally am able to... The problem with some MAGA types is that they can't let go of sometimes outlier data, that there's not real, like, glitches in the system, and there's not... Now, sometimes it can be a hidden trail, but people get locked in this house of fantasy, locked in a Tom Clancy novel, Clive Clusser. I've read some of each of those things just to get a general feel. Along that same vein, I really like the lawyer ones that, and I was always drawn to kind of the southern ones or nature ones or outdoors, because that's just who I am. Southern, nature, outdoors. But increasingly, my people in the South have become like cuckoo birds. That's what makes me upset. And they've been duped. Like, there are some good, wholesome people out there. Like, they're not going to want to believe that Trump wasn't just a player. He wasn't just any old player in the swamp. He was a major fucking player, y'all. How you can't put that together? It's like what kind of cognitive distortion is going on in that mind of yours? Like, everyone has blind spots. We all have our own biases that we need to check and recognize our own privilege. But how do you want little girls? Y'all, I have some experience with this shit and how it can fuck you up. I still did some pretty amazing things. If you know, you know. And as shitty as things have been for me recently, like, I could be living a totally different type of life right now, again, if I wanted to, that involved not being in this nonsense in the US of A, not hearing these sirens and seeing white and black young kids without any hope, any options, any future, and houseless in this little town of Rocky Mount. Like, why the fuck are little kids houseless? In the way, these barbaric ways that they're treating these people in detention. These are human fucking beings. Y'all, come on. Who are you? Like, I mean, like, it's all I got. You're possessed by the devil. Demons. That's all I got. Seriously, for real. Like, there's, like, zero logical explanation how any of you could be okay with what's happening right now. Like, I have people in my family that I know are in this camp, and they are not good people to me. They're just not. I mean, are there elements of them that are good? Sure. Are there good things that they've done for people that are like him and them and think like them? Absolutely. Sure. Overall, just awful people, I think. And abusive. Abusive. Particularly to women. And that's where it kind of all circles back to. Like, I think their goal is to get the first white woman in presidency, but it's going to be some fucking dense brain little who thinks they're smart. They're told she's brilliant, told she's all these things, and she's got a boobs, she's got a butt, and she's a fucking dimwit. I mean, she's smart enough, but, like, people, you don't know what you don't know. Like, and anybody who thinks, I'm sitting here at 50 years old going, holy shit, like, I know, like, I recognize now how much I do know in comparison to, like, Majority of people. I don't know what the number is. It hasn't been compared. God, I think about that kid so desperate, or that a human who is suffering from CTE was trying to make a statement, get the attention of the NFL, kills some real estate agents instead in New York, killed somebody, had a note in his pocket. It was intentional. Because we are not, yeah, you're making the money off, like, and they don't want any regulations in this sports. They just want it to be mad savagery where you do end up with these CTE head injuries down the line. Like, why do we want to do that to anybody? Like I like sports. I want them to be able to play football if you want. That's a dumb sport. Unless you're talking about football is life. I said it. No shits to give. Y'all. All this, like, pure and simple. They just, like, this is exactly what the Republicans did when Obama, I thought, once again, naively, there, now we've solved the race issues. Jesus fucking Christ. Like, I met someone recently who, like, genuinely had anxiety that he was going to be assassinated for the entire length of his presidency. Holy shit, I get that. Now, I'm all, like, Pollyannish, desperately clinging on something from my childhood to believe in. I mean, whatever you think of me, I know that I have a lot of people on my feed that have a lot of respect for me. And I know that eventually my yammering is going to get their attention, that they're not going to just think that I'm Looney Tunes having a midlife crisis like perimen. Listen, you know what, bitch? Fucking women are perimenopausal, can be perimenopausal for 30 goddamn years and then go through menopause. So, you know what? We can do what you can do better backwards and in fucking high heels, except I can't wear high heels. My feet are way too wide. I have more than one time in Gen X does dating fails. You know, like, I'm willing to compromise. Heels in the bedroom, maybe some fishnets. I could pull that off. But dude, I'm not walking in heels in public. No, I can't. It's not happening. Give me my Birkenstocks or Vans or Chacos or whatever, you know. I'd like to have a panoply of shoes that are ones I'll wear until they break. That's just how I am. But no heels. I'm not. I did watch Sex and the City to see if I could learn how to date, because I really actually didn't have a clue how to date. I didn't really date properly. I mean, I did. Made some bad choices in my youth. But I get a do-over. So I'm trying to make fewer bad choices. Unfortunately, it's like been years-long study, like, that has been going in fits and starts. And now, and more, the longer I stay single, the longer, like, oh my God, I could be single forever. But I'm still not a lesbian. Still not a lesbian. White dudes are still a trigger. I have been hit on. I mean, listen, I can't walk around the pond at the lake and say hi and be friendly to people without getting asked on dates. It's happened more than once. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, listen, I'm grateful to be 50 and look the way I do and have had very little done, but I've had to have some necessary things done because of problems, but um I mean, this is just my plea. Do something. Be on the right side of history. I just can't believe this has happened here. But here we are. It's doomed to fail. It is written.